everyone, it's Amy from Mother Goose Librarian. Today for Picture Book Month here in November of 2021, I'm going to bring to you a few picture books that I have been reading. I figured that I wouldn't wait till the end of the month to go over and wrap up all the books that I've been reading because I read so many picture books. So these are just a handful that I've read today that I thought I'd share with you. The first one is called A Ball for Daisy, and it's written and illustrated by Cruz. I do not have the book jacket for this one, so it does not have a Caldecott medal sticker on it, but this has won the Caldecott medal. Here's the case cover. Cruz used watercolors to illustrate this wordless picture book. I just love wordless picture books because they offer so much to readers, not only the youngest readers who may not be reading just yet, who are looking at the illustrations, but also for older readers to interpret what's happening and to tell a story and to be able to work through the book with sequencing and talking about elements of the story, the characters and the setting and the plot and what's happening, a problem, a solution, all those great things that happen in a picture book or in any story for that matter. So A Ball for Daisy, this is a great picture book that I thought I'd tell you about today. The rest of the books that I have are picture books that have won Caldecott Medal honors. So they've won the silver medal. And these are all part of my collection that I hauled just a while back. The next book is called A Chair for My Mother. And this was written and illustrated by Vera Williams. This is all about a child who goes to work one day with her mother at a diner. Her mom works at a diner and she goes and helps do some little odd jobs. I'm not sure what the illustrations are done in this book because the usual spot where it describes the illustration style or what the illustrations or pictures were rendered in does not offer a description of what they were done in. So I'm not 100% sure, and I would hate to even take a guess because I'm not 100% familiar with all art styles, although I can recognize some. But this is all about a girl who's, like I said, goes to work with her mother. There is a fire that happens in their apartment, so they have to get a new apartment, and along with that, all new things. So in this book, they earn money, and each time the mom comes home from her work with tip money, she puts it in this tip jar and saves it. And the little girl also adds to it so that they can save up money to buy a chair for their apartment. I forgot to tell you about A Ball for Daisy, but as you can probably guess by the title, it's all about Daisy the dog and how she has a ball. But one day when she's playing with her ball in the park, she plays with another dog and there is a problem. And I won't tell you any more than that so that you can read the book. The next book I have is called The Little Island. And you might know this book. It's an older one that won the Caldecott in 1947. So it's an older book, but it was written by Golden MacDonald, which was a pen name for Margaret Wise Brown. And you might recognize her for being the author of the famous Goodnight Moon. So the illustrations for this particular book were done by Leonard Weisgard. And again, they don't tell us specifically in the front information, the cataloging and processing information, what the illustrations were done in. But I'm going to take a guess at it, and I'm going to guess watercolor and some pencil. But that's not guaranteed. But that's just my guess based on looking at the illustrations. And basically, this is a descriptive book all about a little island and all about the different features of a little island and the life on a little island. But in this book, there is a cat that mysteriously appears in the book. Here he is. So it's a little bit different with the cat appearing in the story. I won't tell you too much more about it. I'll let you take a read if you're interested in reading an older Caldecott medal winning book from 1947, The Little Island. The next one I have for you is called One Cool Friend, and this is written by Tony Buzzio. Tony Buzzio was a librarian and a teacher who now is a writer, and the illustrator for this book is David Small. You might have recognized David Small's name because he has won a Caldecott winning book for So You Want to Be President, But in this book, this is an honor-winning book. And in this book, there is a child named Elliot. And he's a pretty serious, well-dressed child. And he goes to an aquarium with his father. And at the aquarium, he falls in love with the penguins. And he asks his dad if he can have a penguin. And his dad, thinking that he's going to purchase a penguin from the gift shop, agrees to let him have some money to buy a penguin. But there is a little bit of a surprise because Elliot doesn't buy a penguin from the gift shop. So I'll let you read to find out what happens in this story called One Cool Friend. And the illustrations for this book, David Small has done in ink and pen and ink wash, as well as, I believe it was watercolors. So as you notice, there's a lot of black and white illustrations in some of the illustrations I've showed you, with pops of color here and there, highlighting some of the artwork, or some of the illustrations are done in a color wash. The next book I have for you is the classic Frog and Toad Are Friends. Interestingly enough, Frog and Toad together won a Newbery Medal. In this one, this particular Frog and Toad book has won a Caldecott Medal. So these are beginning early chapter books where we read a simple chapter of a few pages that have artwork that accompany those pages. Again, Frog and Toad, written and illustrated by Arnold Lobel, does not have a description of what the artwork was rendered in. But it's a great story about friendship, and Frog and Toad have many adventures in this book where they tell each other stories, they search for a lost button, and they send one of the characters sends the other one a letter. So check out Frog and Toad and the artwork there. The next one I have for you is called Alexander and the Wind-Up Mouse, and this is by Leo Leone. Leo Leone is a famous author and illustrator. In this particular book, Alexander is a mouse who stumbles across an unusual kind of mouse, which is a wind-up mouse. And he doesn't understand at first why he doesn't have a tail or legs. He has wheels and a key on his back. Well, he wishes he could be a wind-up mouse. And the wind-up mouse tells him he can go to the lizard in the garden and ask to be turned into a wind-up mouse. But when Alexander is searching for a pebble and waiting for the full moon, in which the lizard tells him that's what he has to have present in order to become a wind-up mouse, he finds out that after a birthday party, the child in the story is ready to donate or get rid of the wind-up mouse toy. So Alexander doesn't necessarily think it's a good idea to be changed into a wind-up mouse. So you'll have to read to find out what happens in Alexander and the Wind-Up Mouse. And once again, artwork descriptions were not discussed in the front matter or the back matter of this book to talk about what kinds of art material the artist Leo Leone used to create the pictures. And lastly, Truck by Donald Cruz. You might be familiar with his work. He's got a lot of other books. One of them has actually won another Caldecott honor, which is Freight Train. In Truck, this is another wordless picture book that I just adore, like I said, wordless picture books. But the only text in the book is on the trucks or the vehicles in the story, as well as road signs and signs that the truck encounters on its journey. So again, artwork, we don't know what the artwork is done in this particular book, but a great wordless picture book. And I encourage you to share wordless picture books with all readers, as I said, of all ages, not just your youngest readers. But Donald Cruz books are very popular amongst preschool readers and kindergarten readers. So I hope that you enjoyed this book talk today about some wonderful Caldecott award-winning books. And stay tuned for more books that have won Caldecott medals. And I hope that you have a happy day, happy reading. And I'm wondering, what book is on your heart today? What book have you connected with today?